Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and our ongoing study in A Philosophy of Religion by Edgar Sheffield Brightman. We're going to continue on with the theodicy question. We're going to take a look at pages 313 to 350, and we'll get some further refinement on this position of a theistic finitism. Let's begin with block 1. And Brightman says that God's will faces given conditions which he did not create. These givens are either within or outside God consciousness. If they're external, then that leaves us with dualism. If they're internal, that leaves us Brightman's position of idealistic personalism. Even if within divine consciousness the given is not ever assigned to God. God is engaged in a cooperative moral endeavor with all of humanity. So Brightman tells us that the given is internal to God consciousness. Now, defining the given, in note 2, if we look at pre-human evolution, there was wasteful, unsuccessful, and aimless processes that exist and have existed within evolution prior to humanity. There's also the coherent account of evil. There is irrational and unjust evil that cannot be ascribed to God. God's power is finite, but his will is infinite for good. Goodness is more fundamental than power. Rational purpose guides all of the brute facts. Only the power of good is worthy of worship. And then if we look at structure of experience, actuality equals the rational form, the divine rational form that imprints the concrete brute fact of the given. And then we read that all experience is explained by reference to divine experience, which is the ground of all human experience. So, if we look at note 3, we take a look at this reaching of social verification. And we reach social verification through the threefold logic of the logic of faith. You've got the experimental positing, then the outgoing desire of ideals, and then the interpretive construction. It begins by positing other minds. The concept of God is posited within the concept of other minds. So Brightman says social verification is reached through reason, which functions as logic of faith. In those 3 moments, that's how we reach verification of our posited ideals. And then in block 2, we want to take a look at the issues facing theistic finitism. There are 5 issues: religious inadequacy, anthropomorphism, the intent to absolve God, development of God, and the relationship to mankind. Under religious inadequacy, omnipotence is denied but interpreted as catalogically under Brightman's position. Under anthropomorphism, all thinking must be related to human experience, and therefore everything is somewhat anthropomorphic. Now, under the responsibility of God, the physical universe is located within God, says Brightman. It's internal to God's being. Sensory things therefore make up the content of the given that exist within God. God's will is the rational form that orders and guides the given content. Now, under the notion of God is infinite in time, as unbegun and unending. God is the fullness of all objective being. Relationship to mankind, God enjoins mankind in a cooperative moral endeavor, says Brightman. We are enjoined in this cooperative moral endeavor of the kingdom. But of key significance is that the content of the given is internal to God. The physical universe is located internal to God. So, Brightman wants to restate his position, and he wants to do that in note 2 here. We've got a 9-point restatement of the hypothesis of theistic finitism. God is personal consciousness of eternal duration, where his active will controls the given within himself. The given is the law of reason and the uncreated non-rational consciousness, such as disorderly desires and impulses. The given is not a product of God's will. God is the absolute source of all creation. His will for goodness is unlimited. All of nature is included within his experience. God's will is eternally seeking new forms for the embodiment of the good, the embodiment of the ideal. And in that way, the given becomes used as the expression for God's eternal purpose. And this expression of God's eternal purpose is internal to God consciousness. So from here we move on to the cosmic creation of new value. And Brightman says that no frustration of the chaos of the given is ever final. He posits a position similar to Plato's. First, God posits the form pattern of eternal value. Second, this is received by the primordial chaos, which is called the receptacle. And third, actuality equals the union of pattern forms being imprinted on the receptacle of the given. Brightman says his position is similar to that of Plato, except he provides a consistent metaphysic in addition to Plato by stating that all of reality is internal to God consciousness. Therefore, fulfillment shall be fulfilled within God consciousness, because God consciousness is determined to overcome all evil, all of the aspects of the given. There's always the ongoing will of God that imprints the given content. So Brightman does take up a Platonic position, but he couples it with a metaphysic that the good is not separate from the world. All of reality is internal to God consciousness. And that's unlike Plato at a very fundamental level. So in block 3 we can move on to take a look at the final equation that Brightman wants to posit, and that is that meliorism plus event consciousness leads to holistic self-identifying anticipations. He begins with the notion of perfectibility. God is moving us toward inexhaustible perfectibility, and there are 3 moments. The subjective is social verification through the logic of faith. The objective is the control of the given within God consciousness. So 1 is block 1, and then 2 is block 2. And then the real is the inexhaustible perfectibility as meliorism, or a dynamic system of improvement, a system of conscious rational event within the divine God consciousness. So the equation is basically subjective work, the social verification through the logic of faith, and then the objective reality of God controlling the given, the chaos of the given. Then we can reach that system of improvement, system of perfectibility, the perfectibility of the kingdom. Now the role of humanity in note 2, living religion as a human experience. It is the experience of aspiration toward highest value. The idea of God is the highest religious affirmation we make. We look at the problem of personality, and it is basically humanity striving for ideals. Our experience of language leads us to posit the other of person. Personality equals consciousness for Brightman, and consciousness includes the experience, which means a state of affairs, event, and the consciousness of that event. That's experience. But there's also believed in event, which is past events compiled into a holistic model in memory. So there is the believed in event, model that we carry in our long-term memory, says Brightman. An event as consciousness equals observation, reason, inference, knowledge, and anticipations of the next movement toward perfectibility of kingdom. So now we can take a look at note 3, the holistic self-identifying anticipations. All event consciousness moments are related together by long-term memory and anticipations of conviction. And then key, because past event consciousness moments have been ordered into a believed-in model. The believed-in model must be posited to become real as an internal externality, as a filter through which we view reality. This then becomes universal interacting system, says Brightman. Universal interacting system, which by its own self-actualization intersects and interacts with all other events. Brightman says that therefore exerted energies arise from events believed in, unknown events, and the energies of chaos, of the given. They all exert an energy that affects our identity, our consciousness. But there is this believed in model that we carry in long-term memory, and we call that up at various times and put it at the very forefront of our mind as a filter through which we view reality, because we see the reality spiritually through that filter of a believed in model of kingdom. So that is our equation, basically. Let's go back up there to 3.1 and take a look at that, the 3 moments of inexhaustible perfectibility. And first, it's the subjective, social verification through the logic of faith. Then there's the objective moment, the control of the given within God's consciousness. That's key. It's internal to God's consciousness. That brings us to perfectibility as that system of improvement. But it is social verification plus objective control of the given. We participate as logic of faith. God manifests objective progress through imprinting the given with His divine will. The divine will objectively imprints the given, the unordered. We participate in that imprinting of the unordered given through our logic of faith, which is experimental positing, outgoing desire for ideal, and interpretive construction. We play our role. It's a cooperative role of working together within the covenant with the divine. So we get further elaboration on theistic finitism, and I think it makes an even greater case in this lesson. We get a lot of additional detail. That's pages 313 to 350, but we get quite a bit of different additional detail here. But if we wanted to really identify the 2 key points of this lesson, I would point to Block 2, Note 3, where he describes his position as similar to Plato. That positing of form pattern, the receptacle of the given that is imprinted by the divine form pattern in order to reach perfectibility. Actuality is perfectibility. Then the second thing I would take note of is that Block 3, Note 1, where the social verification enjoins imprinting control of the given. I think those 2 moments are key in this lesson, but we get great information that really does tell us that there are energies, spiritual energies within our experience that affect our consciousness and our identity. We need to be attentive to energies of chaos. We need to be attentive to our believed in model in long-term memory that we have built by participating in the logic of faith. And then we can confront experience as cooperative partners with the Lord Jesus Christ and move toward the kingdom by participating in that experimental positing, outgoing desire for the ideal and interpretive construction. And that'll wrap up this lesson for pages 313 to 350. We'll pick up next time on page 351.